What's up, guys? Spartan85 here. I'm back. I'm alive. I'm here from PAX. I'm recording this on Wednesday. I got back Monday night from my flights. And yesterday, Tuesday, I hung out with my kids all day. It was really nice. They're on spring break right now, so I'm back in the grind of it. And I'm sorting through all my pictures, and I thought it's time to put out a PAX vid. Now, this is not a 7 Days to Die news vid. So if you're here for 7 Days to Die news or anything like that, we're not here for that. This is just pictures of my trip, my adventures with Steve and Dave, and just what it was like. And so let's get started. I'll show you guys some pictures real quick. All right, so to start off with, this was like a joke when I was packing my bags that I bought this suitcase for 15 bucks at a garage sale, and Squatchy, my fiance, was like, "Hey, you need to market somehow. Hey, you need to market somehow because that's not going to be recognizable. It's going to look like every other suitcase." And I agreed, so I put, "Not yours." And of course, the grammar police, I sent it to a couple of my buddies, and the grammar police was already coming out. And that's the point. It's supposed to be not grammatically correct. And I was just thinking, I'm like, man, envision this thing on the luggage carousel, going around in circles, and everybody's going to look at that and go, "Oh my God, that person doesn't know how to spell." And then I get all the dirty looks, so that's how I marked my luggage. It didn't stay on, by the way. Here I am on the plane. Got my battle horns out. Every single flight that I had with Southwest was very empty. My first flight to Baltimore, we had like 30 seats open, and then from Baltimore to Syracuse was, there was like 13 people on that flight. I can't believe they ran the flight, to be honest. Landed in Syracuse, New York, so I flew from Kansas City to Baltimore to Syracuse. This is where I met Steve. He lives about an hour north of Syracuse. We figured that's a good meeting point. We rented a car, and we drove from Syracuse to Boston. And it was snowy up there. So a lot of our snow in Kansas City was gone, so it was kind of crazy to see snow again. There's our rental car. We got a Ford Edge. It was pretty nice, had some miles on it, but we were pretty pleased with it. That's our first time Steve and I ever met in person, too, by the way. We've known each other online for years now, but first time we met in person. So I was leading Steve to look at the owner's manual, trying to figure out how to turn certain things on and off, and so there's Steve attempting to read. Our first night, when we got to the hotel, what's the first thing we did? We lit up. We lit up cigars. We smoked a lot of cigars over the weekend. It was a great time. We actually stayed at the Red Roof Inn. We stayed about 30 minutes north of Boston in a little town called Saugus, is what it's called. And we figured we'd spend less on the hotel so we have more money to spend at PAX and like in Boston. Actually, it wasn't a bad hotel. If you guys are looking for something cheap nearby, it's not a bad hotel. So, of course, the first thing that Steve did was whip out his black light also when it got dark, and yeah, we found a few things. There we go. We got something on the wall. What do you guys think that is? And it was all over the walls, too. It wasn't just that spot. We called this our Old Men PAX Survival Kit. So, lots of antacids, Tylenol, ibuprofen, and, of course, hydration. And the first night, we fired up some Phasmo. So we did rip out some Phasmo. There's Steve flipping me off there. This was Steve and I on their way to PAX. We actually bought Charlie carts for the subway system, and I actually had a good time riding the subways. The subways in Boston are relatively clean and pretty efficient. We only had one derailment. We weren't on the subway, thank God. This is our walk from a subway station to the convention center. We decided to take the longer walk. It's about a mile, just so we could see Boston, and it was well worth it. It's actually the location of the Boston Tea Party, where we threw over the tea in the ocean right there. That little pyramid is the marker. This is the entrance to the convention center where PAX East was held. This is us kind of walking into PAX. So PAX has an interesting rule where it opens at 10, but you can get in line at the staging area is what it's called if you want. So you can like basically get in line to enter. I don't recommend that unless you want to buy merch or there's a certain booth you want to go to, because we got there late the next day and didn't stand in lines, and we walked right down to the convention floor with no problem. So that's more for like people buying merch, I think. There's the 7 Days to Die booth there before it opened. But I think that was for people more buying merch or wanting certain to get in line for Dunkin' or Mountain Dew, which were the big booths this year. Here's what I was just talking about. There's the line, the staging line before 10 o'clock. It's massive. I mean, there's a lot of people waiting. And this is when they finally released the gates. We got to go in. And of course, Steve and I went straight to 7 Days to Die booth. There's the Blood Moon's booth on one side, and then on the other was the console version. Like I said, I'm not going to go into too much detail about 7 Days to Die. This one I already did. I already, hounded everybody about 7 Days to Die. So we're going to show off some of the more stuff. We're going to show off more games that we played and devs we talked to at PAX East in this video. Outward 2 was there. I played Outward 1 a little bit, but Outward 2 was there, which was pretty cool. Now, a lot of these little booths are sprinkled into PAX where they have 3 different games in one, and easier for a smaller dev to get there. But instead of paying $6,000 for one booth, they can split it and get it for $2,000 and split it with 3 other people. We did check out Haunted House Renovator. There's Steve playing Haunted House Renovator. That was a fun game. Very fun game. We also jumped over to Farming Simulator. Those guys were super cool. Giants Software is a dev, and like I said, those guys were very, very cool and fun to hang out with. My son's a huge fan of that game. We also talked to Static City Games. World of Grimm is the game. Pretty cool guys. I like those guys a lot. Not my cup of tea, but still really fun to talk to. So in the middle, they have this. This is the PAX Arena where they select random people, and I actually entered it, but I didn't get chosen. But they select random people to basically square off on different games. And so that was the PAX Arena. These are all the mystery boxes if people are really into these mystery boxes. Not my cup of tea because you have no idea what you're getting, but there's a lot of different mystery boxes there. These are some of the lines that the booths have. I mean, this is all one line. People are like crisscrossing through this, and that is the Final Fantasy line right there. And that was a very popular one all weekend. This is the Baldur's Gate, Larian Studios, but Baldur's Gate 3 was there, and they actually had some pick opportunities here. As you can see, I sent that to Beard, one of the guys in Discord that's a huge fan of Baldur's Gate 3. Didn't get to check out the game, but got to talk to the devs for a little while, and super cool devs. We did wind back to 7 Days to Die, and Dave played some Blood Moons. We watched him play some Blood Moons. That's where some of my footage came from. I hopped on Blood Moons also, and so did Steve. It was a good time. There's a picture of one of the zombies in Blood Moons. There's some more pictures. I had to get my pick with Pikachu. Is a pick with Pikachu called a Pikachu? My daughter's a huge fan of Pokemon, so I had to get that with her. And this thing is massive. This you can see how much taller I'm 5'8", and this thing out-talled me. Is that a word, out-talled? Okay, here's me playing. It's Nocturnal Games is the dev, and it's called Kill Them All. And I threw this up in my 7 Days to Die video just to throw, but this game was sweet. If you want to go wishlist this on Steam, it's called Kill Them All. You basically face off against about 13,000 zombies at once. You can see Steve playing it with the shotgun there. And then once you beat that level, they go to a second level that has 20,000 zombies at once. And they literally are 20,000 at the same time. They're all there, right there. And it reminds me of old school Doom, or maybe even Wolfenstein, and the bodies don't despawn. They all stay on the map. So you can build like piles of zombies. They climb over trees. It's a blast of a game. Oh, I love it. So definitely go wishlist that if you guys are interested in that. There's another picture of the PAX Arena. This one got really popular. I think this was Street Fighter is what they're playing in late afternoon. A lot of people getting off their feet, watching and stuff like that, but the PAX Arena was pretty fun. This was a picture of the board game area. This is all tabletop games, and each table has a section for each game, like lots of Dungeons and Dragons, and different styles of Dungeons and Dragons, but also other tabletop games. And so, or they even have this regular chess and stuff like that, and you can basically just sit down with your buddies and play. You can meet new people. I didn't jump in because it was packed all of the time, and this is literally only half. To the left is more people. Well, I mean, same amount of people. There's me with the Alan from the Fun Pimps. big shout out to him. He was super, super helpful. I know the devs were busy there, and some probably don't like to talk to YouTubers. I won't name any names, but Alan was amazing. He answered every question, and he understands a lot of the community concerns where they come from. And so it was very easy to talk to him. Huge shout out to Alan. He's been with the company since Alpha 15, and his main job is the blocks. He's the one that brought all the new blocks to the game for Alpha 20, and but he also helps in everything else and stuff. So that's just his main job. But he is really cool dude. There's us with Pocket Ninja, and she really is a Pocket Ninja, but she's on Twitch, and you spell it with 2 Ks. It took me a minute to actually locate her again on Twitch. I was following her, but so Pocket Ninja with 2 Ks. And if you want to go follow her on Twitch, she streams a lot of 7 Days to Die. She's also a 7 Days to Die tester. So, but she was super helpful too. A lot of questions were answered by her, and a lot of concerns and stuff like that. But she was very helpful. Overall view of PAX right here, and this, I think that we were going back to the escalator to sit down right here. But I mean, and I just gotta say this about PAX: everyone there is super nice. I mean, just super nice. I mean, you run into somebody on accident, oh, we're sorry, you know, and everybody's there to have a good time. I'm just from the Midwest. I'm from the sticks. I'm there to play video games and stuff like that, and I loved it so much. It was so much fun. Speaking of tabletop games, this is Dave from Hourglass Enigma on YouTube. Me and him, he told me to sit down and play this game with him. It's called Kapow. It's a tabletop game, and I fell in love with it. It took me a minute to get kind of used to it, but it's a very fast-paced game. And it's actually surprisingly easy to learn. So if you're just looking for a game you can play in 30 minutes, it's a dice building game, highly recommend Kapow. And there's the sign for it there. So after Friday, we were tired, but we needed some hydration. So we went to a hotel bar nearby, and I tried Voodoo Ranger, which is a local Boston IPA. Super good, very smooth, and a little sweet. That's the Juicy Haze one. Pretty good. I really enjoyed that. And then we walked home. We walked about a half mile back to the subway, and honestly, Boston is clean. Boston is very, very, even the subways are clean. But I was very impressed with Boston being clean and relatively safe. I mean, it's a big city, so you're going to have crime and stuff like that, but we were walking at 11 o'clock at night in the city, and we did just fine. Now, Saturday morning was a rainy, cold day, so we decided to try to ride the bus as much as we could to the subways and not get too wet. And actually it worked out really, really well, not getting too wet. We rode the buses and the subways and walked under canopies, and we didn't get wet hardly at all getting to PAX. And this is Saturday. This is overlooking the top at about I'd say 10:45 is when we got there. So I mean, like you see, it just walk right down. We checked out Turbo Overkill. It's going to be coming to PS5, Xbox, and Steam. Very fun, fast-paced kind of shooter game, if you guys want to check that one out. These things are kind of cool. I ended up buying a pair for my son. They're called MagCon Gaming, and they're like little... they have little grippers that go on your thumb, and then you can build a stack on top of your joysticks, and even make a D-pad joystick. And so I was pretty impressed by these. That's what they look like on an Xbox and a PS5 controller. And you can see the D-pad on the left, the D-pad joystick, which was pretty cool. And my son plays a ton of Fortnite. I kind of thought this would be cool for there. And they're actually magnetic too. The thumbs stick to them as magnets, and so very good for first-person shooters. Called MagCon. There's another picture of them. That's what they look like in the little case, different colors. This game was a real treat. This was a dev from Poland, just a very small dev from Poland. But the game was called Be My Horde, and it's spelt like horde, like a horde night, but Be My Horde. So you control this like little hive mind chick, this little witch, and she goes around the map and she collects little minions, and she grows a bigger army, and then she has to fight, you know, harder armors like knights and demons and all kinds of stuff. And and the demo's on Steam right now if you guys want to go check it out, and they are hoping to come to consoles. They want to get the Steam first, but these devs were super cool, and we've actually been emailing back and forth even the last couple of days and stuff. So Be My Horde on Steam, add it to your wish list. It helps the devs out a bunch. I wanted to throw this up there because I just want to show you guys I did manage to break my leg playing 7 Days to Die at PAX East. There you go. This guy was super cool. He kind of looks sad all by himself, but he's playing one of those, like, on Sea of Thieves. I forgot the name of the instrument, but it's one of those little wind-up kind of guitar things. But actually, he was very talkative, and he played us a couple songs, and it was really cool. And this kind of sums up PAX East. You can just talk to anybody, and you can learn a lot. He had a lot of history he wanted to talk about the particular instrument and music and stuff like that. Very cool dude to talk to. Didn't get his name though. There's PAX East lit up at night, so we went across the street to another bar, kind of hotel bar, and had another drink Saturday night. We were tired again. It was still raining. It rained all day long. All right, so Sunday, we didn't do PAX East, we did Boston, and we wanted to check out the Freedom Trail and just Boston in general, and we ended up doing that. We ended up walking quite a bit. So we made our way over to the USS Constitution area, and we actually found this ship here called the USS Casey and Young is how it's pronounced. It's a kind of destroyer. It's a destroyer from World War II. It actually took 2 kamikaze planes, direct hits, and survived. 22 sailors did die in that, and that's very sad to hear, but it did continue. It got 20 minutes after taking 2 planes, it got right back into the fight. There's an up-close and personal view of the Casey and Young, and the guns that I have, those are anti-aircraft guns right there in front of us. That can shoot, that particular gun can shoot 6 miles, a target 6 miles that's on land. It can also shoot something in the air like an airplane, or it can shoot sea to sea. I think it's 4 miles sea to sea and then 2 miles in the air, but that thing can hit a target 6 miles away on land. Freaking amazing. And there's 5 of those on that ship. There's the USS Constitution, which was our main kind of goal, and then we came across the Casey and Young, which was really cool. But look at that beautiful thing. And this thing sailed in the Revolutionary War and also after the Revolutionary War. And I was really amazed by the sheer size of it. I just didn't realize ships were that big back then, but they really were. Here's the first level of the USS Constitution, and these cannons are all over the first level. I mean, just massive amounts of cannons. There's got to be 50 cannons on this ship. This is where the general kind of seaman slept, right here. So just little hammocks right here. And I kind of jump back and forth. Here's the Casey and Young. Here's some of the ammo that's on the Casey and Young right there. There's a up close and personal picture of that 6 mile gun. This was really cool. I always thought depth charges were really cool because what can a ship do against a submarine? But these are depth charges right there that they can drop down on a submarine. Here's the sick bay. If you're sick on the ship, that's where you got to go. I actually found a 7-Eleven. See, 7-Elevens in Kansas City are just strewn about, but this was just in a building. It looked like a normal building. There's a 7-Eleven just sitting there. Pretty interesting. Skyline of Boston. That's pretty cool. So this is where we decided to eat lunch. I wanted to find a shack that served fresh lobster, and boy did we find it. I mean, Neptune East Coast lobster is what they serve, which is about the freshest you can get in Boston. A couple seagulls having some fun there. This sign was inside the restaurant. I love this sign, but it literally is. It's a shack. I mean, it's freaking amazing. There's our clam chowder, or there's my clam chowder I got, and look at that lobster roll, guys. Oh my god. That thing was beautiful. That's the naked lobster roll, so it didn't have the lobster salad. Just a buttered roll and lobster. Oh. And then we found the Quincy Market. There's a lot of different shops, and it's actually on the Freedom Trail. The Quincy Market is off to the left there. But it was pretty fun, a little overpriced. Here's the Freedom Trail. Here it is, just a red brick that you follow the yellow brick road or the red brick road, whatever you want to do. And we really wanted to find the Revere house. And we wanted to find the Old North Church where Paul Revere hung the lantern also. There's one of the Freedom Trail plaques in the ground. Seals, I guess is what they're called. There's Paul Revere's house where he lived. And then here is the statue of Paul Revere, and then right behind it is the Old North Church. Yeah, so at the top of this church is where Paul Revere hung the lantern, the signal that the British were coming. It's a lot of history right there. That's pretty cool. There's Bunker Hill. We didn't get any closer than really this. I wanted to check out Bunker Hill, but my feet were hurting so bad. After 3 days of walking, 5 miles a day, I'm out of shape, but there is Bunker Hill. And there's me at the end of the day enjoying a stogie. Good reward at the end of the day. Great picture of Steve there. Steve tried to decide what underwear to wear. It's a hard decision. I think he went with the donuts is what he went with, in case you're wondering. The drive home Monday, we went through some frosted trees. Very frosted trees, like icicles. Ice looked like glass almost. But it was a beautiful drive. We were so tired. Steve was a little hungover. We'll just go with that. I'll give him a little credit, but he was pretty quiet on the way back. And my flight home from, this was from Syracuse to Baltimore. I flew over 3 Mile Island, the shut down nuclear plant that kind of near Pittsburgh, I believe, but pretty cool. I just honestly looked over and I was like, is that 3 Mile Island? I've watched the documentaries and stuff. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I didn't see any little green men running around. I was hoping to. A couple other random pictures I'll throw in. Here's me sitting, thinking pretty hard on the subway. And of course I found the broken leg emblem, so I had to put that up. This was, I think, Saturday night or maybe Sunday night. All the damage. That's our survival kits. We had a lot of trail mix and bananas and beverages. All right, well, that's it, guys. If you guys made it to the end of the video and you're still here, thank you for enduring that. I know it's probably not the most riveting stuff, but I wanted to share with you guys if you guys are interested. Overall, PAX was a blast. There wasn't a lot of kids there, so if you're thinking about bringing your kid, maybe think about it. I would definitely bring my older son. He's 14. I'd definitely bring him, but I wouldn't bring my 8-year-old. Probably a little too young for that. My light is going out, by the way. If you see any blinking or flashing, my oval light's going. I think I need to get a new one. But overall fun. I'm not saying it's not kid friendly. It just wasn't a lot of kids there, and may not be a lot of. And there's a lot of standing in lines. So if you want even the indie games, you gotta stand in line. So. But it was a blast. Boston was a blast. I want to go back. Next year is in May, so the weather will be a little warmer. But might do that. So thank you guys. I love you guys. You guys are the best community ever, and it's still growing. And let's see where we head after this. So see you guys. Bye.